So this is array2 have3. So given an array of integers, return true if the value 3 appears in the array exactly 3 times and no 3's are next to each other. So if I were just to look at the first part of this question, which says return true if 3 appears in the array exactly 3 times, I would use a for loop to actually iterate through the array. That is, of course, to reference each index, which would allow me to reference the element itself. So I has to be less than nums.length, increment I each time. So I would look, I would say, okay, well, if num sub I, which is of course any given element on any given iteration, if that is equal to 3, then I'll increment count by 1. So essentially, by now I would have how many 3's I have in the array. So this array counts the number. Oh, sorry, this for loop counts the number of 3's in the array. That's all said and done. And I'll have another for loop which judges if a 3 is next to a 3. First, I'll need an integer variable called count. So if nums of I is equal to 3 and nums of I plus 1 is equal to 3, then let's see, I guess I could have a Boolean variable called double3, which is set to false. And if of course this is the case, then I will set double3 to true. So this is how I would judge how many 3's there are in the array. And this is how I would judge if there's a double 3 in the array somewhere. Now, I know that if double 3 is equal to true and count is, so essentially if there are exactly, count is equal to 3, and so if count is equal to 3, I want to return true, but I want to return false if count. So I want to return false if there are 3's next to each other in the array, 2 3's. So if count is equal to 3, that's fine, but I also have to make sure that the variable double 3, which is a Boolean variable, is false. And in that case, I would want to return true. Otherwise, I can return false. Seems like we have an array index out of bounds error because we're actually checking the next element in the array by incrementing I by 1. So in the event that 3 is in fact at the end of the array, you'll notice that we would increment I by 1 and walk off the edge. So we have to add a -1 there, and we'd get all greens. Now, for the end part here, we could actually lessen this down, and we could just, if we're assessing one statement, we can just return that statement.